Well, hi, everybody. This is Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. It's Thursday, July 17th, 2025. This is an update for the All Hazards Consortium and all the stakeholders in the private sector and the public sector working as private sector liaisons to share information across platforms just for improved situational awareness. Today, we're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to talk about this tropical entity, I guess you could call it, a tropical system. 93L is what it's called. Fortunately, it has remained for the most part over land, and that really starves it from that ocean heat content that it can use to really fuel its engine and create more showers and thunderstorms. It looks somewhat impressive on satellite, but it really is just a blob of low pressure with pulsating thunderstorms. Sometimes they get pretty organized and then they move out over the Gulf. Mesoscale convective complexes that we refer to them sometimes, and they can move out and grow or sometimes die out. We'll dive into the details here in a little bit. I'm also going to talk about the wildfires that are happening out west, and also a state of emergency has been declared in the state of Oregon for persistent dry conditions, hot conditions that are fueling wildfire growth. And we will zoom in on one of the wildfires out there in Oregon as well. Plus an update on the Alaska earthquake from yesterday. There is no more advisory in effect, no more tsunami watch or tsunami advisory. All indications are that there was no major tsunami generated by that magnitude 7.3 earthquake that happened about 55 miles south of the Aleutian chain there, close to the mainland Alaska. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to take this full screen. This is the NOAA GOES satellite data. It's high resolution. I have turned on the high resolution sea surface temperature data as well, so we can take a look and see, boy, it's still warm, and it's going to continue to be warm there in the Gulf. And it's there to fuel any tropical systems. This is the center of the low pressure system, right about in here, getting very close to New Orleans. You can see persistent and consistent from yesterday. The thunderstorm activity extends to the southwest of the center of this low pressure system, and it does seem to be dying out, just becoming high, thin, blow-off, overcast cirrus clouds, beautiful cirrus clouds in the satellite picture here, just moving off into Texas, not really generating any flooding rains. But you can see some of the activity is being drawn up at low levels in this direction. You can clearly see the cumulus field, which is a low level wind direction here, driving the cumulus clouds to the south over New Orleans and over Louisiana, particularly southern Louisiana here. So there's definitely a circulation here going on, but it does not look like this is going to develop into any more organized tropical system, thank goodness. But we are seeing quite a bit of rain activity in southern parts of Louisiana. Here's the high-resolution National Weather Service Doppler weather radar data, and you can see that there are quite a few showers and storms around New Orleans. Here is New Orleans right here, and you can see that there are thunderstorms just to the north. These thunderstorms are dropping rainfall rates of 1 to 2, and in some cases 2.5 inches per hour. There is a flash flood warning in effect right here. You can see that. I'll zoom in. This flash flood warning for Louisiana is in Iberia, St. Martin, and St. Mary Parish. And I'll zoom in here just a little bit more. And you can see they're very slow-moving thunderstorms and dropping rainfall at really high rates. So this is all part of 93L. And you can see as we zoom back out a little bit, you can see some of that rotation. And I'll point that out here with the pen. You can see this rotating this way. This is coming down this way. And we have other echoes coming in just in view of the radar here moving that way. So this is about where the center is right now. And it doesn't have any strong winds associated with it. But it does have enough moisture in the atmosphere, and it has enough heating down in Louisiana to create and fuel these thunderstorms. Thank goodness it's not any stronger. But we'll see thunderstorms coming in from Pensacola and Florida over here into central parts of Alabama. Here's Gulfport, Mississippi. Here's Mobile, Alabama. So here's south central Alabama with some thunderstorms rotating around there. And then other ones, as you get closer to the center, they get a little bit more concentrated and dropping rain at faster rates. Hence, we have this one flash flood warning that has been issued. And that is in effect, let me check here. That one is in effect for the next 3 hours and 19 minutes. So 3 hours and 19 minutes. It will expire Central Time at roughly 5 o'clock p.m. The water does not drain very easily in southern Louisiana, too. Not much of an elevation difference, so when it rains, it does tend to stick around, and flash flood warnings are extended fairly significantly than other places in the country where you have topography. Okay, we'll back out a little bit more to the high-res satellite data because I do want to show you what that looks like in other parts of the country. And you can see what it looks like in Texas, where the recovery efforts are still going on and will be for a while. In Kerr County, Texas, northwest of San Antonio, it's sunny there, just some high, thin clouds, but it's hot. It is very hot. The soil is very moist, and they're dealing with a lot of mosquitoes and pests down there in the Texas Hill Country. Moving away from this particular system along the Gulf, you can see in Florida's East Coast, again, this is a really dramatic example. Let me move this over a little bit more and show you what it looks like in Florida. We have thunderstorms that are forming, but look at the high altitude winds really shearing off the tops of these storms. You can see generally the clouds are rotating in this direction because we have a big high pressure system off of the southeast coast. And that is what is going to pick up this system, 93L, take it up into Arkansas and around Tennessee and back out over South Carolina in the models, where it may once again come in and impact Florida in about 6 days. It's crazy, but this is the way the wind patterns are right now with this high pressure system that's basically off the coast here, and that's generating these winds coming this way and then winds coming around this way, forcing these clouds soon in Louisiana up towards the north. But look at that. It's really impressive how these thunderstorms, the tops are really blowing off. You see high, thin cirrus clouds over Tampa. That's because of thunderstorms that have been forming north of the Bahamas over the Gulf Stream where that warm water is. If I move on up the coast just a little bit further, you can see what's going on in the mid-Atlantic where heat advisories are in effect. Boy, feels like temperature, heat indexes, whatever you want to call it, well over 100 degrees in Virginia, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, over on the eastern shore of Delaware, Philadelphia. It is very warm up there today. And even a little bit further to the north, you can see this cold front, cooler front that's going to be passing through New England and dropping the temperatures tonight. Oh, boy. Tomorrow, temperatures in New England will be in the 50s in the morning, and that is really going to be quite refreshing. Look at the clear skies. And back of this, Chicago dealt with severe weather yesterday. Now just some diminishing clouds moving through there right now, and it's going to be a much better day during the day tomorrow. Well, I'll widen out and show you what else we have too, but I wanted to show you a little bit more detail here, 93L in New Orleans. So I'm going to switch the sector here to the 1 minute imagery. I've highlighted the town so you can see a little bit more clearly what's going on here. Here is New Orleans, right here where this dot is. I just left in yellow, Baton Rouge. Look at these strong thunderstorms in the Mississippi, Louisiana border. Some of these are dropping rainfall rates again, 1 to 2 inches per hour. Here is that thunderstorm complex right here that has the flash flood warning associated with it near New Iberia and Lafayette. Look at those bubbles coming up. That's whenever you see that on the satellite imagery, particularly this is imagery every 1 minute. That shows very intense vertical velocities. The air is moving up very quickly, and you see these bubbles coming up. That is all part of this 93L circulation and consistent. Remember yesterday, I showed you the storms that were developing on the southwest side of that, and it's continuing to be very active in that area. Here's the strong thunderstorm that's right over Lake Pontchartrain right now, developing, impacting New Orleans and the bridge over towards Slidell. There's some slow traffic going on there. Here I'm widening out to show you a little bit more of a northern hemisphere kind of perspective in the western hemisphere from what the GOES East satellite sees. And you can see what's going on elsewhere around the country. I'm going to dive in here into this area because it has been hot and very dry, and we have had some wildfires that have been burning in Oregon. And I do want to show you a little bit about what's going on there. So let me dive in a little bit closer by switching that satellite sector from the GOES West satellite into Oregon. So here we go. This is what it looks like. We've got a couple of fascinating things going on. Look at the marine layer, first of all, on the left-hand side of your screen. The heat is coming down off of the mountains, and it's pushing this low-level moisture back, squirming through the valleys there and taking that ground fog, that marine layer, and getting rid of it as the afternoon progresses. That's why you see those clouds retreating. All of these clouds here on the Pacific Ocean are mid-level to low-level stratus clouds. This is what's known as the marine layer. And you can even see as it retreats, look at this swirl right around here near the California border, just coming around the point right here. This is really a fascinating effect here with those northerly winds coming down with the low clouds. They're showing some really wild things, and I want to point that out. Look at the stratus clouds moving south, but look, the air is also draining right around this point. And that point is called Point Orford. Just to the north is Cape Blanco State Park, but this is Port Orford, right off the 101 freeway in western Oregon. But it's really incredible to see the wind kind of creating now this circulation here, and almost like a little vortex going down the west coast towards California. It's nothing to be worried about. It's no storm or anything, but it's really interesting to see how that air is just coming around that point and then driving those clouds southward. Okay, now I want to move this over because I want to talk about a couple of wildfires in Oregon. This first one up here is called the Cram Fire, and look at that burn scar. It's pretty impressive. You can see the smoke burning. I'll get a little bit closer here on the satellite imagery. You can see the smoke coming out of the fire. I can add another layer on this satellite image that shows heat, and we'll be able to see part of the fire itself. This is called the fire temperature RGB channel, and look at that. We can see that extreme heat coming up from the wildfire on the south side of that burn scar. So this Cram fire is not only emitting smoke, but it's causing air quality issues as well. This fire has grown to 77,163 acres. The cause of this fire is still under investigation. But the northern part of the fire along Oregon Route 293 had decreased fire activity yesterday, so that allowed firefighters to continue securing the line, really mopping up hot spots and patrolling in that area. Today, firefighters have to deal with a red flag warning in effect from 1 o'clock to 10 o'clock for dry and windy conditions. You can see the smoke is being blown this way. The winds are going to increase in intensity a little bit later. As a matter of fact, Winds are expected to shift to the northwest around 10 to 15 miles an hour with gusts to 25 miles per hour possible. They'll decrease overnight, but may increase again on Friday before a passage of a cold front. And that'll bring cooler temperatures and higher humidities, which will be good to help wildfires here. Here is Bend, Oregon, just to the south. This is Bend, and just right there is the Cram Fire. So here's GeoCollaborate. Here's the Cram Fire here. These are all of the hot spots that are being detected by satellites, by NASA satellites and NOAA satellites. This is the fire perimeter right here. And this area in pink, I'll zoom out here just a little bit, is the red flag warning. So you can see that extends all the way from the Dalles, which this area in Oregon, once you get across the Cascades, turns very dry, and there is a very high likelihood of wildfires and having them spread as well. And then down to the south, there are air quality warnings and advisories because of these fires down here to the south. Here's Klamath County, here's Klamath Falls, and I'll zoom right in here a little bit to show you some of the details of this fire. This is Upper Klamath Lake here. This is Klamath Lake. Klamath Falls, which is a big tourist attraction, is just right down here to the south. There we go. There's Klamath Falls. And here are all of the hot spots going on there. So here's Klamath Falls right here, and here's the lake, and here's the smoke coming up from that fire. That fire has been putting out a lot of smoke, and that's why we have air quality alerts and advisories in effect there. Matter of fact, the Oregon Department of Forestry and the Oregon Department of the State Fire Marshal have requested a statewide declaration of emergency. Why? Well, they want to sustain the fire response effort because as fire conditions continue to escalate across the state, new and existing fire threats elevate the need for access to state resources, including ground support and firefighting aircraft. So this threat is not likely to recede in the near future. Governor Kotek is asking the Oregon National Guard to be prepared to expedite requested resources and respond effectively to these dangerous and dynamic conditions if requested. So we'll continue to monitor what's going on along the west. We have a number of fires burning, and we also have, look at this marine layer that's kind of retreating as the heat continues out west. And this is, again, a pretty amazing satellite image as you can see these swirls in the low clouds. We have a lot of stuff going on here. Here, let me show you this once again. I'll back out. You can see the wind coming down here from the north, hitting a little bit of eddy and vortexes in here. It's pulling clouds down from the south out of Oregon. But look when it gets down to California. The winds come around here and they hit the coast and they get pushed up. And that's where they run into some other vortexes that they're causing. So look at this. The wind is coming from the south right along the coast here in California. And then it meets with those northerly winds and then causes some other vortexes there. It's really quite fascinating when we take a look at this. I'll move it up here to the north just a little bit more. And you can see what's going on. So meteorology is really phenomenal. These aren't storms or storm clouds. These are just moisture. It's moisture at mid-levels and low levels. And you can see it retreating out of California and out of San Francisco, which, by the way, is good news for the airport because that's one of the biggest reasons why flights are delayed in California. And that is because of fog. I also want to mention in the state of North Carolina, there is an emergency declaration that was issued there. You can see that the red crawl at the top. That's because of Tropical Storm Chantal and the rain that inundated north central North Carolina, northwest North Carolina. There are flood watches there as well right now. But that state of emergency is to really help with transportation-related issues. There's right now a severe thunderstorm warning right along the border of North and South Carolina, impacting Danville, Virginia as well, and Winston-Salem. There are all sorts of advisories here. This is a special weather statement issued in North Carolina. And let me see if I can go over to the radar and see what's going on for these severe thunderstorm warnings right along the border. Yep, let me take the radar and look over here. So here we go. This is right on the border of North and South Carolina, and you can see what's going on here. This is a severe thunderstorm warning. There's Ridgeway over here. Greensboro, North Carolina is just here to the south. Let me move the radar up a little bit. Here's Greensboro. So here's the North Carolina, South Carolina border. And that is something, here's Danville, Virginia, right on the border of North Carolina. These thunderstorms are dropping very heavy rain, and some hail has been detected, less than 3/4 of an inch of hail. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts have been radar indicated here. So this is for North Carolina, Virginia, Caswell, Henry, Pittsylvania, and Rockingham counties. And that's going to expire in about the next 10 minutes. It may be extended based on how this line is behaving. And there may be a flash flood warning issued because it looks like this line is going to move over some of the same areas where heavy thunderstorms or these thunderstorms have dropped that heavy rain. So we'll be monitoring that going on to the future. Let's take a look at what the next several days look like as far as the forecast is concerned. We'll start with the HRRR model, that high-resolution rapid refresh model, and we'll take a look down in the New Orleans area to see how long this rain is expected to last. And this is what the current conditions look like here. I'll advance it. This is advancing every hour, so you can see what the rain looks like it's going to be doing. And so some of the flood threat may be shifting a little bit to the west, southwest part of Louisiana. It looks like the HRRR model is not picking up on any long duration convection, just storms that will be popping up. And if they move slowly, they can certainly produce localized flooding. There is a flood watch in effect in southern Louisiana, officially from the National Weather Service. Let me widen out here and show you what it looks like and what this system is expected to do, or at least anticipated. We're going to follow some of the DNA from this storm, 93L. Can't really call it a storm, just a low pressure system. And you see where it is early on in the model cycle this afternoon. This is the point this afternoon where 93L is located. And you can see the rain over southern Louisiana. But watch this as I continue advancing the model data. What happens to this precipitation? It's moved up here, and some of the precipitation has been taken around the periphery of this high pressure because the winds are blowing like this around the high pressure system that's located off the coast. Then you can see what happens by Saturday. Here it is again, raining in southwestern Virginia, North Carolina, and also down towards South Carolina. And then it does develop a little area of low pressure, and we're talking now by Sunday night into Monday, where it sort of tries to reform into a low pressure system off of Florida once again, and then it brings it back in over Florida next week. So that's Tuesday into Wednesday. We'll see. We'll see if that happens. But the models are trying to pick it up and move it in that clockwise circulation around that high pressure system. We've seen it happen before, so it's not really unprecedented. One last thing I wanted to point out here along the Great Lakes, you can see around Lake Michigan and also Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, these blue advisories. These are all advisories for high wave conditions because of the strong winds that are blowing down the lakes and creating very dangerous conditions for swimmers. Be very, very careful. Only swim where there's a lifeguard because these winds can generate waves, and then those waves and currents can take swimmers back out to sea, and it can be quite dangerous. There's small craft advisories here also. in Lake Huron. But these blue areas, all the way from Lake Ontario down through Lake Erie, southwest of Cleveland, and Lake Erie, very dangerous swimming. So be very, very careful there. So that's the way it looks. The great news is the Gulf, the Caribbean, the Atlantic, all look tropical system free for the next 5 to 7 days. So we're not really expecting anything in the way of tropical activity to develop. There's quite a bit of also African dust that's coming off the Sahara that's going to be coming into the eastern Atlantic and then being transported in the easterlies towards the Caribbean islands. So dust, when it comes off of the Sahara, tends to diminish tropical activity when there's a high concentration of dust there. Maybe we'll show that to you tomorrow on the satellite imagery. It's just fascinating. Thanks so much for watching this update. I'm Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. This update was for the All Hazards Consortium, Sensitive Information Sharing Environment, and also to you on YouTube watching for these updates. I hope it's giving you information that helps you make better decisions. And also, please don't forget to watch out for yourself, be weather wise, and watch out for your neighbors. They really do appreciate it. See you tomorrow.